Yo, yo. Spiritual experience. What up? Cumbia. Summertime is here. Come on. What up, everybody? Welcome back. Let me shut that down. Yeah, man. I've been on a cumbia kick for like a little while. It's infectious music. Yeah, Pikachu. Yeah, infectious, man. It's like, how do you not like bop and hop around to that kind of beat, you know? And I've been really listening to like a lot of like the, I guess, I don't know. This is a beautiful thing about the interwebs. It's like, yo, you find like one rabbit hole, you start tumbling down, and it's all beautiful stuff. And yeah, man. So I found myself in like an electronic cumbia wormhole. And then I just find all these different groups, and I just save the shit. And you know, some of it has lyrics, some of it doesn't, some of it's just that. And yeah, some of it, you know, I don't even understand fully what they're saying. I gotta like listen. And that's good. It's been the end of a little bit of a, what do you call it? A little bit of an eventful week. Small, I wouldn't say small. Yeah, small, minute, emotional hangovers because I had to, you know, deal with shit that I don't want to deal with, you know, and I had to confront things I don't want to confront. And that's, that's where the Lord is, when I'm just like being brave, but trying not to be a dick, you know, and that's a deal. You know, I remember like, you know, some of the things that happened this week was like, you know, just like regular work stuff. But, you know, I'm like if you ask me, I'm like an easygoing guy. And in some cases I am. In some cases I am. And in a lot of cases, I'm really not. But I'm like understanding because I have like goal-oriented philosophies, you know? So like, it's almost like I don't really care too much what the problem is. I care about how we solve the problem, how we move forward, and all this other stuff, you know? So we had like a work thing where one of the people who technically works for me, but, you know, I view my life and everything as an orchestra of everybody playing their part, and it's all part of the same thing. Like, I don't be like, hey, I'm the fucking boss. I don't even look at myself like that. I'm the owner, but I'm not the boss, because there are people who do other functions that I do not do that know the function and what's going on, and they're better than me. So I'm not really in a strategic position to make all of the calls for every minute thing that goes on. I'm not, because if I'm being smart, I'm humble, and I don't know everything that's going on within that particular space. So that being said, people have like a lot of autonomy that work for my company, and they have freedom, but they have to act within these specific parameters, which is like, okay, we need to get the job done, and we need to make sure clients are, you know, reasonably happy and understand what's going on and the whole thing, and that's it. And try not to get lost in the sauce. Sauce. Yeah. So, you know, what the problem was that there was an issue where like I showed up to do something, and, you know, and the client thought I was supposed to do something else, and whatever. I had all my shit with me, so I had, you know, I made I made a change of plans on the spot, and I was able to satisfy everything. But at the same time, there was a breakdown in the system that made that happen. Because typically, when I go see a client, I don't have to do what I did. Normally I just show up, I do my part, and then I leave. But I was showing up doing somebody else's job, which is like whatever. I'm not complaining about it, but the point was that I had to ask, listen, how did this happen? I'm like, why am I in this person's home, doing ABC when my job is XYZ? And then, the scheduling lady, the lady who works, who's kind of like, she like oversees like all of the appointments and all this stuff. So she knows everything and she keeps notes. She's like, this is not, I said, yeah, none of that stuff is in the job notes. I don't know what's supposed to be, this, why is this happening? Like, how did this happen? Like, what's going on? And then the guy whose function it was, he was just like, he just decided not to answer. Yeah. Like he just ghosted. It was and this is like in a fucking group text. And I'm like, or a group chat, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, bro, now I have to put on the fucking owner hat and be like, oh, my friend, nobody runs from accountability here because nobody's in any trouble. We just need to know what happened so that way we can find if there's a hole in the system and somebody else will cover or plug up that hole. That's what that is. And so, yeah, the next day, because it was at the end of the day and I was already angry that like he was non-responsive. So I was like, listen, I said to myself, I said, when I'm in that position, I'm in no position to address anybody, because then, ego megalomaniac comes out. And then I don't have all of the, I'm not very smooth and I'm not very forward thinking in the sense like I could say the wrong thing at the wrong moment in a fit of anger and the guy can be like, fuck you, I'm leaving. And then to find another person is going to throw everything off whack. It will be done. Oh, there will, jobs will be filled. We pay very well. And we have high quality of life. So, yeah, so the jobs can be done, but it's hard work. But it can be, yeah, exactly. So anyway, so I wait till the next day and I was like, yeah, come by the shop after this job and blah, blah, blah. So he comes by the shop and he does some stuff around the shop. And then I'm like, all right, I'm on my way there. Just wait for me. And he's like, yo, I'm sorry. I left already. And now I'm like, all right, so now I got to call you. Something's going on. I don't specifically have to tell you to wait, but you take it upon yourself to just say, fuck it, I'm out. And I'm like, no, dog, that's not the way this shit works. So I call the guy and I asked him, like, bro, what's going on? Like, how do we have a problem and then you disappear? He's like, well, I felt like you guys were coming at me. I'm like, it doesn't matter what you feel like. You have to participate. If it's your responsibility why this thing got fucked up, all you got to do is say, listen, I'm sorry I screwed up. This is what I did, and I'm sorry I screwed up. It's on me. And everything goes away. But this person who's doing this job, like, sorry, I'm like taking off my, I'm going to pause for a second. Hold on. Sorry, I'm getting a little hot under the collar. Yeah, because, yeah. I had to take my shirt off. So, yeah, because it's warm where I'm at. Yeah, so I'm like, dude, you cannot. I said, when we're having a problem, we're trying to figure out what happened. It doesn't matter what you feel like. You cannot just disappear. You're not in that. Nobody's in that position. To not respond to somebody, that's like fucking bullshit. That's like, I told him, in more professional terms, but I was like, dude, that is very wildly disrespectful. And that's like baby shit. And we don't have time for baby shit. So you can never do that again. The things that you're doing, because this is like, this is like an ongoing thing where, there's like a lack of communication. So now I have to put, some people in a group chat so that way everybody knows. So nobody can be like, well, this person said this and then she said this and then I said this. I'm like, no, all the workers, we have to communicate on the same page then. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. There's like nothing wrong with that. I have no problem just so everybody's kept aware and everybody's kept accountable because that's the whole thing. The whole thing is about accountability, and it's very easy to like kind of sweep shit under the rug and just be like, yo, blah, 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 or make, but we're doing grown up stuff. You can't make pretend things didn't happen. Because, yeah, what's the truth? The truth is, no, I can't. I'm not in a position where I can effectively just fire somebody on the spot, because everybody's doing very, very crucial work. So, no, that cannot happen. In theory, it can happen, but it's not wise for it to happen. I'm over here reaching for the Coke Zero. That's what I'm doing today. Coke Zero. What does it got? No sugar, no whatever. I'm sure it has some kind of crack juice. Let me take a slug. Anyway, so yeah, like that kind of, like, I don't even like to live my life like that, because that's just not the way, it's not the most effective way to operate, and it's funny because like we are business owners and, that's just the way that it goes. Like, I had a client, another client asking for some paperwork that had to be submitted to like her building. It's a COI, certificate of insurance. And she's like, I sent the email 3 times. I'm confused. What is going on? Why is this not being done? She's saying that. Meanwhile, Emily does the COIs. And we can look right in the email address. And she never fucking sent it 3 times. She sent it 1 time. The last time was she was crying. And fucking being a little bit of a cunt about it. But I was like, yo, did this lady, what's up with this lady? Is she crazy? And Emily's like, dude, she's fucking crazy. It's not here. She finally sent it now, and Emily can do them in 20 minutes. So Emily does the whatever and gives it back and then sends it in to the lady. But we don't go back and forth with the lady like, yes, you sent it. No, you didn't send it. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the problem gets solved. And everybody understands what happened, not how, or I wouldn't say how or why it happened or whatever, but just like that, it happened. This is what happened. Okay, well, how do we stop this from happening? We had a similar thing, like we've been dealing with the wedding planner, and she came through like one of my closest friends, and yeah, it's just that we just have a different way of doing things, We just have a different way of doing things. My way is one way. Her way is a different way. And she's doing the best she can, I guess, and not like in a disrespectful way. I'm trying not to be disrespectful. But it's just like, she doesn't have any accountability. She doesn't have any accountability. And there was plenty of times for me to be like, because we got into a thing, she's like a little bit pushy, I guess. I don't know. And we have our own style and our own way that we want to do shit. And our wedding is going to be super nice, super gaudy, a little bit loud, maybe a little bit sprinkly, a little bit ghetto. And that's perfect. Because that's how we are. But we're going to have class. We're going to have class. So, yeah. And that's the deal. So, but we want things done, like, not saying we want things done our way. It's like, she brings like these ideas and we're like, okay, yeah, we don't really want to do that. We want to do this. And then she's a little bit pushy and whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, fine. But we're still not doing it. But I had to let her know, like, dog, when we say no, we fucking mean no. And, yeah, and that's it. And you can tell by the way somebody behaves, their inexperience in general, just in business. Like, we're a client, you're a business owner. Like the same way that I handled the customer problem with Emily in the emails, and the lady was being like she was being a little bit nasty on the email, but not over where I had, because I even asked Emily, I said, do I have to, do you want me to say something to the client? Like, I'll just go in there. That's when I put on the boss hat and say, listen, everybody has to be nice. We don't need this paperwork, until at the very last minute. We're still ahead of time, but I'm letting you know right now that you can't talk to my staff that way, or you'll have to call somebody else, and they'll say sorry, and then it'll be okay. You say sorry. Everybody's allowed to have bad moments and bad days, and that's my whole ideology. Is that like everybody's allowed? Like we get it, because we run a show, a business. So like even with the wedding planner lady, there was like, we send out invitations, and, there's limitations of how many people. Like I can't have 5,000 people at my wedding, but there's a lot of flexibility for, we had to make room and make space for like kids and this and that, like, because I want everybody, whatever, to be happy. So, yeah. So we're like, yo, when somebody goes on the website, because then they send out the invites, which the invite lady was an extension of the wedding planner. The wedding plan. This is what we brought to the table. We brought the venue. We brought the photographer. We already had the dress. We already, what else? Wedding venue, photographer, dress. Yeah. She brought the DJ. We're gonna have like some really talented, either hire. Oh, we have the tailor for the dress. Like, we're doing, I'd say maybe 50-50, right? I would say that if I'm being generous, 50-50, maybe 60-40 our side. She brought the invitation lady, who is, screwed up more times than we can imagine. Even though people are giving, oh my God, these invites are crazy. They're so, yeah, but you don't know what it took to get there. Like this lady, she's like maybe working out of her house or fucking something in a basement, and, works at a dental office during the day or whatever. Yeah, so it's like that. And she also recommended a few makeup artists, which we gave like 4 thumbs down. This is our ideology. And again, we want to do things our own way, in that way. So like the lady's very pushy, like, no, you need to have this kind of makeup on because it's going to come out in the pictures and blah, 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 right? But the weddings that we go to where people comply to that kind of demand, quote unquote, dude, the bride looks like a fucking Oompa Loompa. Like they look crazy. They look fucking crazy with caked on makeup. And I'm like, dog, no, we don't want that shit. We want her to look nice, even if that means she does her own fucking makeup. Or I have plenty of Puerto Rican cousins, or my cousin Louie, his wife Gisette, she's Colombian, but she's everything. Oh my God, I love her so much. Yeah, if she could help out, or like we have plenty of people, you know what I'm saying, that are like fucking wizards. That the female members of my family, they get done up, they fucking stop traffic. That's how it fucking goes. Because they're not like pasty white girls who need, to dip their face in fucking spackle and fucking whatever to get done up. No offense to anybody who needs to. So yeah, we're telling her. She's like, no, you don't understand. Then the pictures and this and that and I was like, no, you don't understand that the pictures count, but they don't matter as much as looking like a fucking a drag queen at your own fucking wedding. Like the pictures, they're going to be professionally done by my boy Billy. He's doing them. William Mason Photography. Fucking this guy, it's top shelf. Top shelf. Him and my homegirl, Jen Torpy McFarland, whatever her fucking name is now. Torple Nuts. Yeah, those two, amazing. My soon to be wife happens to love Billy's shit, and we happen to love Billy because I know him over fucking 10 years. And I know Jen my whole life. So if we needed a backup to the backup, she's the fucking one. And she actually photographed my one of my best friends, this guy Angus, his wedding. You know, so that was like, yeah. So it's like fucking dope. So we have it under control. You know, and this the planner is just used to, I guess, controlling everything and everybody, because that's just the kind of energy she has. Like, it has to be her way. I'm like, dog, like, the photographer will edit the photos. We're not getting close up fucking all the way in your face fucking, you know, portraits. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting that. We're not going for a fucking acting gig. You know what I'm saying? And he's a fucking wizard at doing that shit. And if anything, my son will fucking do it. He'll edit all the pictures for nothing. So we don't need, you know, we don't need you to keep pushing us towards your fucking friends or whoever is doing the fucking makeup, because we went a few times and we had to pay to go and it fucking sucked. It sucked balls. And my girl came home like, dude, like almost like, not like crying, but like very disappointed. Like, you know, we need to trust our gut more and do what we want and not waste our time. So yeah, so she's bringing that. What else? Anyway, so the whole point is this, right? Here's the point. The point is, like, we have a few hiccups, right? The hiccups happen. I'll break down one of them, right? One of them was people get the invites, and they go on the website, and there's nowhere for them to add a +1, right? A guest. You send an invite to somebody, they get, you know, they get to add whatever they want, you know, especially they get, I don't know, you know, yeah, they get to add if they want to bring a guest or not. If the seats are very, very limited, they'll tell you beforehand, listen, I'm sorry, you cannot bring a guest. Because I've had that happen. I missed my best friend at the time. It was still my best friend. I'll never say that again. He's my brother, my best friend Angus. I missed his wedding because at the time he was like, dude, we can have you and these other guys, but we cannot have any more people. There's literally no more space. It cannot happen. And I was like, bro, I'll pay for the plate. I'll do whatever. I have to bring my fucking woman. He's like, bro, I'm sorry. I can't. And I didn't go. And, you know, I felt bad then about it, and I feel bad about it now, you know, because maybe I still should have went. But I had to go with, you know, what I felt was, for me, like, culturally right. Like, I don't show up nowhere without my woman unless she don't want to go. You know, he wasn't not inviting her, you know, because he loves her. Bro, the guy tattooed her. You know what I'm saying? We're like family. But, and you know, and now we were also a lot younger. This is like over 10 years ago. And he's got a lovely wife, man, Madison, who's amazing. And he's got all these babies, and, you know, he's such a good egg. He's such a good fucking guy. Either way, right? So there's nowhere for anybody to add like a +1. So and people are starting to hit me up like, hey, I got my invitation. There's nowhere for me to add, like, you know, what about kids? What about this? What, you know, if I'm allowed to bring kids? So we hit the lady up and we're like, yo, how do they add where the kids go? Or what's up with that? You know? And I was like, we keep getting these texts about people asking me if kids are allowed. And we can't be fielding these texts all day long. Like, it can't happen. So what's up with the website thing? And then, you know, she was just like, basically, well, why didn't you tell me that kids were invited? And I was like, well, the venue knew. You know, the venue knows. We didn't know that. We didn't know that you were sending out invitations for, if one name is on the envelope, then one name is allowed to come. Maybe you do that in your family. I don't know. In my family, in my world, that does not exist. Anybody's welcome. Or we will specify. Not just like, hey, this envelope is for Brian Fryer, and that's it. Forget about his woman. Forget about his son. You know, that there's no space for them to respond in that way. So she just starts asking me like, you know, why didn't you tell me this and that and like whatever, and like just starts going, making it basically Emily's fault. Emily and me. I have to take some of the blame too because that's my partner, but I'm not even involved. Making it our fault. Like, you should have told me that, kids. I was like, it's like, dog, when we, number one, that is not even a useful question. Why didn't you tell me? Or what? Yeah, whys are not. It's like hows. Hows are constructive. Whys are destructive. Because I could just say, well, when Emily gave you the list, why didn't you confirm with her, hey, I don't see any children connected to these names. Are they allowed? You know, you didn't even ask, or just to double confirm because you're the one with fucking experience, right? Now me, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole, but this girl, I allowed myself to be dragged down that rabbit hole because she was like basically blaming us. And I'm like, no, dog. I said, look, you're the one, you know, banging out in front of us. I have 10 years experience personally. I mean, she's whatever. I don't really know her, but like any person who's done anything for 10 years will have some foresight about possible problems. Right. So I've been doing what I do for 10 years, right? I've been washing rugs. Okay, that's what I do, in case I haven't said it already. Sometimes, again, when I started the show, I was always scared some Karen is going to go and fucking, you know, find my company, give me 10 1-stars because I'm trying to figure out how to better understand and love my trans kids, you know? And it's not an easy thing. So whatever, that's what I do. I'm washing rugs, right? We restore and repair antique, Persian, Oriental rugs, silk, tapestries, all of that kind of stuff, right? And we have on-site technicians that clean couches and whatever. We're one of the best in the city. So when I see a rug in a client's home, or if I'm getting it from them, I say to them, I say, oh, you see this corner is a little bit worn here. From my experience, that could get worse while we wash. Just from observing it, before we do anything, I'm letting you know we need to secure this thing. We need to blah, blah, blah. Because of the countless times that it happened that I didn't say anything. So my experience knows that, look, this is a potential thing, right? So I could have gone, I was like, listen, how do you not, you know, if you're blaming us like 100% and none of it is your fault, that's what she was saying. None of it was her fault. I only go by the list you give me. Like, okay, well, here we are, you know, and I was like, you know, getting defensive because listen, nobody could talk down to my woman except for me. And that's just how I live. So she's being a little bit like, you know, whatever about it with me. Cause then we got on the phone cause she thought she was going to call me and like straighten me out. And I'm like, dude, you're talking to the wrong person if you think that that's going to happen, because I don't even care how it happened. All I'm saying is this. Okay. So just go on the website and just put my email address. Say, if you would like to add you just put a little thing on the website. All children and guests are welcome. Please email Jared with, and then have my email address with whomever you're going to bring. Right. So that way that will fix the whole problem. She didn't even, and so she could have just said, okay, all right, we'll do that and then we'll figure it out. But no, dog, she wanted to go back and forth with me for fucking like 30 minutes. And I'm like, I don't understand what you don't understand. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. You want me to say, yes, you're 100% right. And oh my God, we're losers. This is our first wedding. We fucking made a mistake. Oh my God, we didn't tell you that kids are allowed. Oh my God, we didn't tell you that people were possibly going to bring a fucking date to a wedding, that there need to be space for them. Sorry. Like, that's what she wanted to fucking hear. That like, no, you are the golden Goose, and we would be nowhere without you. It was just so crazy. It was just so crazy. And I was just like, look, I'm over here not even blaming at the time, not even blaming anybody for the mistake because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is like, okay, well, how do we move forward? And I'm alleviating some of the stress of you getting extra names into your inbox. Then I'll collect all the names, put them on a spreadsheet, send them over to you. And then she's like, well, now we got to go to the venue and this and that and whatever. I said, well, that's fine. We'll go to the venue. And if we have to make more space, we need more tables, then we need more tables. Or we have to move them. We'll figure that out. It's okay. It's okay. We'll figure that out. So that's the thing. And then a couple of days go by, and then she's like, all right, I want to have a Zoom call. And then and I was like, all right. And she wants to have a Zoom call now with the three of us, me, her, and Emily. So we go into the Zoom call, and she goes into the same fucking thing. So, because she tried to speak to Emily on the side, talking about like, yeah, Jared just wants, the problems to be solved. He doesn't want to know how they were created. And Emily's like, yeah, because it doesn't matter. Like how they were created, people made a mistake. That's it. That's it. Who made the mistake? It doesn't matter at that point. At that point, what matters is the freaking solution. Like, and just to move on. But, she wanted to be fucking right forever, bro. She just wanted to be right forever. And it was so crazy. And she was just, it's like very, yeah. So, it's a stressful situation planning a wedding. I don't really feel I feel some of the other stresses, but just dealing with somebody who has zero accountability is stressful for me. Not the actual situation itself. Because even we got into it a little bit on the Zoom, and I'm like, yo, Emily, like, this is what I mean. Like, I asked the girl, I was like, so you're saying from start to finish, 100%, you did everything correct. You didn't make any mistakes at all. You're perfect. And she just sat there. She just sat there. And I'm like, you see, this is what I mean. This is what we can't deal with. Not mistakes. We can't deal with somebody who can't be like, yo, we can't deal with somebody who doesn't know how to just pivot and go forward. And that's the thing. And we almost stopped working with them. And they were like, well, if this isn't a good fit, I'll, and just the way that she went about it with like, I'll, we can part ways. I'll send you an invoice for the work that I did. Like the money's going to fucking matter. Like, dog, in my brain, just even saying it like that, the way she said it was like a little bit condescending. Like, oh, and you'll have to pay me. Like, dude, we don't give a fuck about that money on any level. We do, like zero fucks about that money. Like, we have paid for problems to leave our life. Gladly. And that's why I was like, Emily, it's up to you. It's up to you. Emily's like, we've already come this far. I don't want to pick up the rest of the pieces myself. And I have very good people who are in my life. Dude, my homegirl, who I love dearly, Allie, she's been on this show. She's like, yo, if you need help, I will fucking crush that shit. And I know she will. Even though it's not her fucking business. She's a fucking shark fucking realtor. You know what I'm saying? She's a shark fucking realtor. Super intelligent, sharp cookie. And she's a human being. She's soft. She cries. She loves her family. She understands. Shit happens. That's it. We fucking put out the fires. We hug each other. We go forward together. That's her fucking lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Well, this girl doesn't understand that. So, but Emily was like, no, let's just finish with this far in, right? So I'm like, okay. So then we have a Zoom call about the actual planning, and that part of the Zoom call goes great because then it's just execution. okay, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. You guys want it? All the execution part goes great. Like, I'm like, all right, this is how it should fucking be. Not you wrapped up in your fucking feelings about some shit and about needing to be right, man. It's madness. It's fucking madness. You know, that's the part. So when she was like, oh, well, I need to make sure that we are on the same, that we have the same, like, you know, our style is the same so we can move forward together. And I was like, I'm not going to say her name. I said, our style is humility. That's it. That's our style. That's our ideology, is humility. She didn't even know what to say. I don't even know if she knows what that word means, right? So, because she kept, you know, this is the time, you know, she just finished lobbing, you know, all of her experience. Meanwhile, these are like very silly mistakes that are being made that I'm not a wedding planner, but, you know, if I was, you know, with allegedly the experience that she has, 10 years. She's like, in my 10 years of experience, like she does like all those like air quote things. Like she's speaking to you matter of factly. I'm like, you got 10 years of experience and you see a list of guests and you don't see any children or any plus ones next to anybody and you don't even think to ask. You just assume that we're not inviting people. That's like a very yellow belt mistake in my mind, especially because we're paying for seats. So anybody could come, but the more people you bring, you got to stuff the envelope. That's just how it goes. It's just how it goes, man. But everybody's allowed and we don't care. We're not counting money or keeping score. But I know that that's how it goes. Dog, if I go to a wedding, I got to pay for my seat and my woman's seat plus a little bit more, you know, depending on what it is. You know, otherwise I won't go. Bro, I've not gone to weddings because I can't make it. We can't go. And I'll send fucking $300. Yeah, we can't go. Sorry. And I'll send it. You know, because maybe it's plane tickets and Airbnb and car and everything. So instead, and if at the time, if we can't just get away and I can't spend fucking $2,500 to go to a wedding, I'll send you $300. That's the fucking deal, bro. That's it. You know, here, God bless you. I'm sorry we can't make it. Take this and go do something silly and stupid, irresponsible. My money is for irresponsible shit. You can take the rest of everybody else's money and fucking do whatever you want. Go buy a new weave or whatever. Or put a down payment on some rims. So, wedding planning goes good. It's the rest of the call, right? It's another hour. And it's funny because I saw my sponsee, Jamie, in the street. As I was walking, I was like, dude, I was like, I gotta have a call. I gotta have a Zoom with the wedding planner. I was like, so I can smoke a cigar afterward. And he was like, I ain't gonna. I'm like, all right. In my mind, it was gonna take 10 minutes. It took an hour and fucking 10 minutes, right? So the actual execution is fine, right? The ideas, we have our own ideas. So we're like, listen, Emily don't want to do. So it's like, oh, well, we have to. So what do we have to do? We have to set up a meeting with the place, right? So the three of us can go there. I've already gone and given fat fucking deposit and spoke to the people there and everybody's incredible. So she's like, all right, I got to set up a meeting, do the cake test, the cake tasting, whatever, this, that, and the third. You know, and we were like, yeah, she's like, okay, so for the timeline, you know, with the wedding pictures and this and that, I said, I said, Emily doesn't want to see me until she comes down the aisle. That's the first time she wants us to see each other. And there's this other thing that other people do, which is no problem. It's called like a first look, where they take all the wedding pictures before the ceremony, before guests arrive. And then after the ceremony, the bride and groom go to the cocktail hour and chill or whatever. So, but there's also the other way where they take pictures after the fucking ceremony. Bro, I went to my boy Guido's wedding. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I brought my daughter to the wedding. My daughter, Sam, we had the best fucking time. It was beautiful. I loved it. I fucking loved it. You know, and my friends were there and it was on the beach. Man, They just had a baby too, Jill and Guido, man, a beautiful kid. You know, it's just, yeah, this life is an amazing life. Anyway, so after the ceremony, they're on the fucking beach in Breezy taking fucking pictures because I've been to so many weddings where they do that. So we tell the lady, like, yeah, this is what we want, you know, that we want, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, that we're thinking about that. But whatever. So, Emily doesn't want to see me until she comes down the aisle, which is fine. And we get an email like maybe an hour or 2 hours after the talk saying, oh, I spoke to the photographer and he doesn't recommend it because of time crunch and this, that, blah, 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 blah. I didn't even read the whole email. Emily reads it. It's not that much pouring water, but it's like, you know, do what you want, but he's saying this is not smart, right? And Emily's like, why is she even fucking talking to fucking Billy, you know? Or, you know, before we do. So, whatever. She don't know that this guy's my fucking boy. I call him the next day. I'm like, dog, the wedding planner is saying that we can't really do this, and this. He's like, that's not what I said. I'm just letting you know, Jared, it's going to take this much time to do this, and this. He says, but I'll make anything happen. Whatever you want, I'll make it happen. You know, after the ceremony, you know, it takes half an hour to get set up for the pictures. And then after the pictures, you're taking pictures 45 minutes, maybe. So you'll have 15 or 20 minutes, but I have an hour and a half cocktail hour. So, you know, you'll have a little bit of time. But he says, it'll be a little rushed, but I'll make it. Don't worry. And I was like, dog, why don't we do this? Why don't you show up earlier whenever you want? And he knows that, bro, you know, I'm not saying this in a very grandiose way, but there's a way to make anything happen. And if that means, look, we need more tables and it costs more money, that's what it means. If it means a photographer has to get there early and maybe he has to charge a fee for that, then that's what it means. But not nothing, not zero. So I'm like, dude, you get there early, you take the groom's party pictures, then you take the bridal party's pictures separately, boom, 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 make sure we don't run into each other. And then after the ceremony, you just take her and my picture, and that's it. He's like, bet. Boom, we can do that. And we have plenty of time. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, like you come back with like, this cannot happen. And then I make a phone call and then all of a sudden it fucking happens. And then we get another message. Now this is me belly aching, but it'll all tie in. Like we get another message like, oh, I want to make sure you're talking. She's like, I want to confirm. Oh, then I'm sorry, because this all happened in 24 hours. So the next day, a misdirected invite goes to one of my friends. He's like, yo, this is an extra one that came. And it looked crazy. It went to the wrong address. And the people's names that it was supposed to go to weren't even complete. Like it just had it's funny. Look at this. Look at God, man. Look at God. So Angus's invite went to Guido's house. So it had Guido's address and it just said Angus and Maddie instead of Angus and Madison Hendry. So incomplete names, wrong address. So I'm like already like, you see the humble card? You should have played the shit yesterday, you fucking banana. So I just take a picture of the invite and I send it to the planner and Emily in the group chat like, yo, this is what's going on, you know? And then the girl scrambles a little bit and da. I'm like, okay. She's like, can you confirm this is the right address? And then she has to check with the invitation lady and whatever. I'm like, dude, the invitation lady and the printer and everybody, they're all an extension of you. So if you want to be big boss, guess what? It's your fault. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. You want to be the fucking boss? That's what it is. You want to work collaboratively? Then it's a different attitude. But essentially, it's on you. right? So I'm like, boom, right there. And then she's like, oh, I want to make sure I want to confirm that you're talking at the, she's asking me about the venue, right? I mean, she already apparently has been in touch with them, right? So she's like, oh, you're talking, she's like, I'm confirming the person managing your wedding is Joe Savino, who we know. And I said, yeah. I said, hold on. I check in the email. I said, yeah, that's him. That's the guy we sat down with. That's the guy we made all the plans with. That's the guy we closed the deal with. Boom. And I dropped some cashish there for him, right? She's like, oh, I've been talking with Joe Orzo. And I'm like, and I already know who that guy is. He is another manager there. And she's like, and she starts like covering her ass. Like they've been working together for 45 years and he's been super helpful. I'm like, yeah, but he's not, we know him too. You know, that place knows my whole family, bro. When I went to sit down with Joe Savino, Joe Orzo came and I went to go to the bathroom and he went for a long walk and talk with me and was grateful that we're getting married at his place and was talking to me for 20 minutes about how much he loved my dad and how much my dad has fucking helped them over the years and blah, blah, blah. And this whole thing and why, basically saying thank you and gave me a big hug and all that shit. So I'm like, dude, yeah, we know them. I said, all of them know us. We know who Joe Orzo is. And she's like, yeah, but he's the one that's been helping me. And I'm like, oh, so you have been talking to the wrong Joe. Because why would you just ask me to confirm that it's the other guy? So that means that however you made the mistake, I could say, hey, listen, what did you do? Did you call and say, let me speak with Joe? Or did you say, hey, who is managing this wedding party? And then they gave you the wrong guy? Is that what you're saying? So, she's trying to, so it's funny, like the day after her lack of humility, she's getting all this egg on her fucking face, and then she's like, yeah, they've been working together 45 plus years. They know. I'm like, dude, you're giving me news? I can tell you everything. You're giving me news? You made a mistake. You're talking to the wrong fucking guy. Because she mentioned something like, oh, because they also said a deal with cash. I'm like, I never spoke with Joe about that. Not that it would be off the table, but that's not something that's been discussed yet. So who are you talking to that's even mentioning that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Who? It's fucking crazy. So then she was like, yeah, well, she's like, well, how do you? Then she asked me how I know them. Again, to like kind of try to play it off. Like, well, how do you know them? It's like, ha, 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 it's okay, good, yeah, all right, yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. How do you know them? How do you know Joe Savino? And Emily texted me right away on the side. She's like, why is she even asking you that? I was like, I don't know. She's just trying to cover her ass to make it look like, she fucking, that she didn't screw up. Where like with us, you don't have to cover your ass if you're just fucking humble and say, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I was talking to the wrong Joe, but they have all the right information there and we'll figure it out. I apologize, my fault. You say that, it all goes away. Same thing with the invitation shit. You say that, it all goes away. But no, now I'm like laughing. I'm like, look at God. With this girl, I mean, if I would have recorded the Zoom call, like the amount of ego that she had was like crazy. She's like, 10 years. I'm like, yeah, dude, like if I was doing something every weekend or every other weekend, I would say, for 10 years, that's something that I do on the side. It's not my fucking career. It's not what I do. It's not what I do. And if she's been doing this for 10 years and said she's like, I worked with Marina Del Rey before and this, I'm like, why are you asking how we know them? Or like, how are you making these like very white belt oversights, between invitations and this, that, and the third, talking to the wrong people. Yeah, it was funny. So I was like, when she asked, like, yeah, how do you know them? I was like, this is my chance. But I was just like, I said, we know all of them. We all know each other. And that was it. I just left it at that because I didn't want to continue the conversation because it was non-productive. That's a non-productive question. When we're talking about getting things done. Now if somebody at the wedding or anywhere else that is non-part of the fucking thing is like, yo, how do you know these guys? I'll be like, yo, we know them through this, this, and this. And my dad works with them for fucking 30 years with this and blah, blah, blah. That's why, bro. I was grateful that we went there and my girl loved the place. And that's it. Good. Because this is where the fucking plug is. So we can throw a bomb-ass wedding and trust me, we're spending. But like, we get a little bit of a break, but we're fucking spending. So like, yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, it was my turn. It was my turn to be like, you see, this is why you should relax. But I just stayed cool. And then I told that, and me and Emily were laughing about it. Like, dude, she has like, in one day, literally has like 3 egg bombs dropped on her face. One that we solved the photography problem without her with one phone call. That she could have just been like, hey, they want this. He would have been like, listen, it's going to be a time constraint and it'll be an issue and whatever, and this is, and she could have been like, okay, well, solution driven thinking. What if we did this? And we took all the pictures for the bridal party before and the groom party and all the solution that I came up with the photographer. If you have 10 years of experience and you've never done that once, like not once. When I spoke to my boy, he's like, bro, he says, I've done it all. He says, I'll do whatever. He says, yo, he says, we take pictures. You say we're done. Guess what? We're fucking done. There's no, I'm there to fucking make magic. I'm not there to control everything. And I can make that's my thing. I've been doing it 25 years. He's like, yo, I've been to 3,000 weddings. He says, I saw everything from some fucking girls getting her hair caught on fire at the cocktail hour, and I've seen bride and groom break up at the wedding and leave separately. He says, I've seen it all. I have experience. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe our helper, who's been, listen, it's not that she hasn't been all bad, but she just is inexperienced, and the lack of humility about her experience is what the problem is. That's what the whole issue was, because we didn't interview anybody. We didn't ask anybody. One of my fucking closest friends, he's like, yo, use this person. They helped us out and they're like a close family member. And I said, no doubt, we'll just do it, which is fine. We're not regretting it in any way, but like, that's just like, that's the spiritual exercise this week, because I can't be everybody's fucking sponsor. But if they're asking about how to have good, solid relationships with us, whether it be business or personal or whatever, one first things first is you got to be nice. Next thing is you got to be humble and accountable. And third thing is you got to be able to just move on, forgive, whatever. If you need something needs forgiveness, but provide solutions and move on. That's how we live our life, Everybody's like easy does it. Everybody's human. Everybody's fallible. Nobody's friggin' perfect. Anyway, so, all right, we're going to get out of here. Big shout out to Amber. He just had a baby boy. It's incredible. And I've yet to catch up with him. I can't wait. I love that guy. Him and his wife, Alex, they're amazing. I had a fucking camel at their wedding.
unbelievable. And yeah, this is a beautiful life. And today I got to celebrate Yariv's anniversary with him at a meeting that he goes to on purpose that people fucking hate him. And it was great. It was a third step meeting. Maybe we'll talk about that next time. All right, guys. Peace. Okay, everybody. We'd like to thank you for joining us on the Spiritual Experience. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on all podcast platforms. Spotify, Apple, Google, Pandora, everywhere. And please find us on Facebook where you can become part of our family. We'll see you around.